Hi, in this screencast we'll see some advanced Jasper reports. In my part 1, we discussed about how basic Jasper report integrated into the JSF application. In my blog, I will describe about how we integrate that Jasper reports, and we also seen that the overview of the Jasper reports, how Jasper reports works, and how we export into the various formats like a PDF, doc, and PPT. In this second part, we're going to use some complex objects like a list, pass the list to the Jasper reports, and we use some date and how to use a local variable in Jasper reports, and add some sub reports and add some background into the Jasper reports. So here I already created one simple project called demo bean. Here the very important thing is I have two entities. One is shopping cart. Shopping cart have first name, last name, and date of purchase is a date object, and I have list of items. So data object we need to put in temporal because the incompatibility between the Java util date and Java SQL date. And I have list of items. Each item have ID, item name, price, and number of units. Price in float format and number of units is integer data type. And I created a persistence, so I am using here JPA to retrieve the data from the database, and this is my database. Now the database is empty, so we're going to create the table in runtime. So that's why I put that table generation strategy is create. I added the Hibernate libraries and MySQL JDBC driver in my class path. There is a one new servlet. It's a servlet. It's put some sample data into the database. So I just first run this servlet, and this servlet is executed. Once servlet is executed, go and check the database, and now database some fields are added. So when see the shopping cart, there is a two entries are added and items also added. There's a third table. They maintain the relationship between the shopping cart and items. Okay, now we are going to create the reports. So in web pages, I create one folder called reports. Then I'm going to create the report. So go to the others, report. I actually installed iReport NetBean plugin. So in NetBean itself I can create the report. Otherwise you can use the iReport standalone version. You can create the report. So I create one empty report and I call it the report. Finish. Okay, now design is opened. Now I'm going to design the report. So first I put small static text is a title, and I type shopping cart report. And I increase the font size and bold, and you can change the color, everything. Now I just put it in middle center and open the report inspector. Here I don't want to the page header and column header, so I just remove it. This field we're going to create some fields. That field's name should be matched with the bean name, bean property name. So here first is first name. No need ID. So first we talk about it. So we create one field, first name, and here in properties it's a string. First name is string, so no need to change anything. Same thing is last name. Create the field, last name is also string, so no need to change anything. Now next is date of purchase, TOP. But TOP is date, so go to the properties and change to date, Java util date. Then next one is list of items. So copy, create the field, list of items. This property is list, so go to the properties and change it to list, Java util list. Now we created everything. Now we just dragged out one by one. So first name, just align it, last name, DOB. Now I put only 3. I am going to put list of items later. We added later. Now compile the report. So right click the report and compile. When you see the iReport output, our report is compiled. Now go to our projects, and now we go into the demo bean. The demo bean is a backing bean of the JSF page. Here I am add the code. This code is based on my first part of the Jasper Reports, and it's a very simple. Now I created one entity manager, and I can create the one query, select S from shopping cart. Then I got list of shopping carts. Then that carts you can't pass directly into the Jasper Reports, so we need to convert into JR bean collection data source. So I just wrapped with JR bean collection data source. Then I get the path. I am getting the relative path from my context. Then using the Jasper field manager, I am filling the report. So I need to pass the Jasper file and my bean collection data source. And using the normal HTTP servlet, get the response. I need to generate the PDF in stream. So finally I am export on the stream with the servlet output stream. Once exported, that file comes to client and displayed. So you go to the index.html. I need to create one button. So first create the form, and button. Action, just mention the PDF method. So use expression language, demob.pdf. Value, just mention that generate the PDF, generate Jasper report, and close the tag. Save the project and run the index.html. Now click the generate button. Now they pull the data from the database and generate the report. So when you click the report, yeah, we'll see the very simple report. Now first name, last name is printed, DOB, everything is printed, but it's misaligned. That's the only issue. So go to the report.jrxml. Now I'm going to change it. Okay, I'm going to change it. I don't want to first name and last name. I want to only single name with combined both first name and last name. So I just changed as a name, and I don't want the last name, and I don't want to last name separately. So here we can go to the report inspector, and select the report name. Actually the Jasper report we can create in 3 languages, so we need to change the language to Java. I already set Java, is usually in Groovy. We need to set in Java, because once set in Java, while compile we can write the Java code inside directly in the Jasper reports. So now select the first name. I don't want to simply first name, I want to first name and space last name. So select the first name and go to the text field expression and click that one. Here you can write the Java code directly. So usually we can write like this, plus symbol, small space, and we're going to put this is the expression of the first name. You can get the fields, everything here. So, and I need last name. When you double click the last name, it's generated like this. So first name one space and last name. So click save and save the report, compile the report. Once compiled, go to the project and run the file. Now click the generate Jasper report. This time I'm get the name, and first name and last name is combined together in single places. So now this is a very good. Now the DOB, date of purchasing, I don't want to this kind of format. I want to change the format. So go to the Jasper report and put date of purchase and put it near to the name, and DOB now it's printed the date and time. I don't want time, only with date, so you can use the date. So select the DOP and comes to the text field expression. Now using the Java, you can put the Java, there is a date, simple date format classes available. You can put the class here. So new simple date format. Here you can give the pattern. Here pattern is MM, DD and YYY. Then dot format. Here you can pass the DOP. So just double click the DOP. Just put inside and double click the double click the DOP. It comes in this area. Now click save. Now increase our thing. Now compile the report. Report compiled. Now run the project. Now generate the Jasper report. Now Jasper report is generated. Now you can get it in what we expected format. We removed and we'll bring it 06, everything in perfect format. Okay, next we are going to integrate the sub reports. So go and take the palette. If its palette is not available, go to the Windows and take the palette. In palette, take the sub report and paste here, and we're going to create the sub report, and I'm going to actually create in blank and the empty data source. We can change it later, and next, and give the name of the sub report. So I'm giving the name is sub report. Then click next and finish. Okay, now sub report, another JRXML is created called subreport.jrxml, and now take the subreport JRXML, go to the report inspector. We're going to create some fields. That field should match with the item class. So item, take the item, we'll pass one by one. We create the field one by one. So item name, it's a string, it's by default is string, so no need to change anything. Next, take the price. Price is a float, so go and change to float. So java lang dot float. Next is number of units is a integer, so create the new field. Number of units, come and change to integer. It's very important to put the perfect data types, otherwise class cast exception is throwing. So I saved. Okay, now here I don't want to, in my sub reports I don't want to title, page header, column header and the footer, everything no needed, so I just delete it. Now I need detail, so I need the column header is needed. In column header I'm going to put some string. So take the palette, I bring it one by one into the detail pane. Item name, so just align it. first is price and number of units. So I just name is changed, item name, price, number of units, and select change the font if you want, bold it. Now I want to put one horizontal bar, so take line and place it in header. Now increase the length now reduce the detail pane size and save it. Now go to the project and go to the main report, report.jrxml. Now we'll align it the sub reports. Now we are passing, while creating the sub reports, we are passing the empty data source. Now we need to pass the we already have the list of items, so I need to pass a list of items to the items into these sub reports. So select the sub reports and take the properties, select sub reports, come down. There is one place, connection type. We are using the connection is data source. We are not using a normal connection, we are passed it as a data source. So select the data source and in data source expression select it. Here I need to pass as a list like this, but you can't pass a list directly, so we need to typecast to JRBean data collection. So we need to pass as a JRBean collection data source. So take the full path of that one and go there, and now I need to data source expression is new JRBean collection data source of list of items. It's like this, you need to pass and click OK. Now I am passing the list of items to the sub reports. Now sub reports take the one by one items is printed in that order. So now save everything, come to the main report. Now we compile the main report. While when you compile the main report, automatically sub reports also compiled. When you see here, main report is compiled. Now sub report is compiling. Okay, report is compiled. Now come and run the project. Index.html. Now generate the Jasper report. We got the one exception. The problem is groovy. So comes to the sub reports. Select the report inspector report and select the report. Here I told you the languages, 3 languages available: Groovy, Java and JavaScript. When you put Groovy, you need to put some jar files in your class path. So we are using Java here. So just select the Java here. Then save it. Then again compile it this report. Once compiled, then run the project again. Okay, now generate it. Now PDF is generated. That's it. Now we create the items. Now item names, Dettol's, Hammam soaps. I put the everything. Now I'm going to create it. This is individual price. This is number of units. Now we need to calculate the total price of the particular item. So we can do with in Java also. Otherwise, in Jasper reports, some local variables are available. So we are using that local variables. How to create? We'll look at that one next. So come to here in the sub report. In sub reports there is a variables. So we are going to create some variables. So instead of using fields, now you are using the variables. So create the variable. So give the some name. Name is row total. So we create the row total and this is a float data types, and this is the integer data types. So our row total is a float, so come and change to here, the variable class is float. And second one thing, calculation we are not doing any, there's lots of calculations are available, like a sum, average, highest, so we don't want to any calculation for this scenario, and we don't want to any reset types also, so put the reset types also none. And finally the variable expression, here we need to multiply these two fields, so select that one. First select the price and put the expression, you just put the multiply operation and number of units, it's like a Java expression, then select OK. And initial value, you can put initial value like a 0.0 is a floating point, so put F, otherwise they complain about the double, 0.0 means double, so we need to put F means it's a floating point operation. That's it. Now bring it into the our Jasper reports total. Now bring it on to static text, put total, and font, increase the font. Now compile this report compiled. Now run the project. Now generate the Jasper report. Yes, now we generate the total about 18 into 5 into 90, 32 into 7 into 224. This total is generated. I want to now grand total. Grand total mean now this grand total we are going to sum of all this total. So we are going to create another one variable. So go to the report inspector. This is a sub report. So we are going to create one more variable. That variable name is grand total. Now we need to change here. Grand total is again is a float, so come and change to float. And now calculation is sum. We are going to make it sum of this row total. So make it sum and come down, and here the value expression. Here value expression we are going to make it a variable, so go to the variable of row total. So what is the meaning is they are going to make sum of row total. So how many row total is there, they make it sum. And initial value if you want to put 0.0, yeah, okay. It's once variable is created, drag it and put it into the page footer, sorry, column footer. Don't put it into the detail pane. Detail pane meaning is repeated, so put it in downside and put one static text, grand total, and put the font. And if you want to put one line, so use one line in that column footer, and it's like this. Now save the report, compile the report, run the project. Now generate the Jasper report. Now we got like this. So we got the grand total also. Now the issue is both project. We have the two entries in the shopping carts. One is Ramki, one is Sandeep. Both are generated, but both are generated in the same page. If you want to generate the different page, then go to the main report. There is a one more is option is break. So bring the break in after the sub reports, and they asking the column break or page break. Put the page break and save the project and compile the main project. Compiled. Now run the project. Now generated. Now we got it perfect. Now the second page contains the another project. Okay, next we'll talk about the adding some background. Adding some backgrounds. So comes to the main report. and Jasper Report Inspector. There is a one more is background. So select the background and maximize the background. Now downside one background bar is created. Now we can put whatever the background we needed. So we bring one image. So image component, drag the image component here. Put this. Now we're going to scale the image. Put fill frame. Okay, now frame image is filled. Now save the project and now run the project. First compile the project and run the project. This time we created the background, one image, and we created. Now you can decorate the color, everything. Now this project have one small problem. Problem is now I added the image and I added the Jasper report, sub reports. Both are with is absolute path is mentioned in the XML. So go to the XML. First select the main report. Go to the XML, and here when you see the sub report tag, here sub report tag, here they mentioned that one parameter sub report directory, and when you go to the designer and report inspector and check the parameter sub report directory, here in properties they mentioned that my complete absolute path name. I don't want to absolute path name, so what we do, go to the XML, find out the image is here added again absolute path. We're going to change it to normal relative path, and here I am mentioning report slash, no need report slash, just mention that is simply the Jasper reports, and remove the one parameter report directory, remove that also. Then what happens, it's point to the relative path. Same thing is an image. In image tag, remove everything, just mention the image name. Actually they before they put it's the absolute path, remove the path, they will make it a relative path, so our deployment make it so very simple. So once everything is done, now compile the report and run the project. Now click generate, report is generated. Now we get it everything. Now we can change the font, color, graphics, whatever things we can make it, and make it the report is beautiful. Okay. And thank you. If you have any suggestion, everything, put in the comment on the video. Thank you.